Hey everyone, so today we're going to be taking a look at the Lightdow LD4000 action camera. This thing goes for around $39 on Amazon. You can probably pick it up for around the same price on other places. One day I was surfing the web and a friend of mine messaged me letting me know that this thing was on sale for around $33. So I went ahead and got another one so I can test this one out and also compare that to my original SJ4000 action camera that I've had for about a couple of years, and I've been pretty happy with it. You'll notice that these cameras are all over the place. I mean, you can pick one up for around $30 to $50 in most places, and this is a huge drop in price compared to what it was about a couple of years ago. When I got my SJ4000, it went for around $130. But I mean, that's common since they're becoming more and more popular. More people are able to go ahead and grab one at an affordable price. So in some ways that's a good thing, but how does the quality compare to the more popular brands or the bigger brands? You've all heard of GoPro. They produce great cameras, great quality, great video quality, but the price is outside of the reach of many of us, in my opinion. SJ Cam is a pretty big brand from what I've seen. They're not as huge as GoPro, but they're pretty big and their quality is pretty good as well. These, I mean, they look exactly the same as the SJ4000 cameras, and we know that they're all coming out from the same factory or from overseas. So we're going to go and take a look and see how this one compares to the other one, to the SJ4000. Let's take a look at the specifics for the Lightdow LD4000. This one does measure 67 by 40 by 23 millimeters. The weight itself doesn't weigh too much. I think it's at 0.06 kilograms on the website. In terms of US weight, I would say it is about maybe like half a pound, maybe less than half a pound. In terms of colors, it does come in a variety of colors. This one is black, but they sell it in blue, gold, pink, white, yellow. I think that was it, silver as well. In terms of the outside body, it is covered with a soft, smooth rubber coating on it for the front, sides, bottom, top, but not on the back. The back it is made out of plastic, so this is where the screen is located. I would just be very careful with that. It is since this plastic is prone to scratching. On my SJ4000, it's the same thing, and I did get a couple of scratches on it, which I'm kind of sad about, but just got to be very careful with that. The power button is located on the front of the camera. When you push it one time and let go, it'll go ahead and turn on the camera. If you push it again, it'll toggle between the video shooting mode, which is the first thing it'll put you into, to the photo shooting mode. If you push it again, it'll take you to the playback mode. Push it one more time, it'll take you into the menu system, and if you push it again, it'll cycle through to the beginning where it'll be back into the video shooting mode. On the top of the camera, we have the OK button, which is pretty much your shutter button, but it also confirms selections in the menu system. So if you are going to be recording video, you'll just go ahead and push it once, let go, and it'll start recording. Push it again, it'll stop recording. If you press the power button to switch to the photo shooting mode, it'll work as your shutter button to take pictures. And if you're in the menu system, if you choose an option like formatting your memory card, it'll ask you, are you sure? By pressing the top button, it'll confirm that. On one side, we do have the up and down arrows. This is primarily used for when you're navigating through the menu system, going up and down the list. On the other side, we do have the ports. We do have the micro SD card slot. In terms of capacity, it is up to 32 gigabytes in size. Anything larger will not work. Same thing with the SJ4000. I did learn that the hard way. I put a 64 gigabyte card on there thinking it would work, but it doesn't. 32 is the max. There's also the micro USB port on the side next to it, which is for charging the camera up. And there's a micro HDMI port on there as well. On the bottom, we do have the battery compartment door. And on the back, we do have the 1.5 inch screen. In terms of internal specifics, this camera does shoot at 1080p resolution, 30 frames a second. You can do 60 frames a second at 720p resolution. There's also lower resolutions as well that you're able to shoot in, but no slow motion. So when it comes to faster frame rates or shooting at 120 or 240 frames a second, it's not possible with this camera. But for most people, 1080p at 30 frames a second is acceptable. For me, I'm pretty happy with that. For the video format, it is encoded in H.264 and is stored in the MOV file extension. For the field of view on this camera, it is 170 degrees. It does have an HDR feature for when you do record video. I really haven't noticed a huge difference with it, and I just prefer to leave it off. I'll just do my color correction in post and go from there. It does claim that it has anti-shake or image stabilization, but I've noticed that it doesn't really do a good job when it comes to that. I would turn it on, I would shake the camera a little bit, but it seems to still pick it up, so it's not a real huge deal either. Just make sure you have a stable mount whenever you're recording with this thing, otherwise you're gonna have to do some correction in post. There's also a microphone on the camera which does pick up audio. If you were to have this in the underwater enclosure that it comes with for underwater shots, audio may not come out too clear because the microphone is being separated from the outside environment due to the enclosure. Now without it, the audio picks up okay. It's not perfect, it's not great. You gotta make sure you're talking loud into the camera if you want it to pick up, but it's not the greatest. But I did notice that it does work better than the SJ4000. That's the one thing I've noticed about this one, that the audio does pick up a bit better. For the accessories for the LD4000, it's pretty basic. It does have the underwater enclosure that it does come with, some basic clips, some basic joints for mounts, some straps. But the cool thing about the accessory kit was that it does come with a second battery, so that's a huge plus. You don't have to go out there and spend money on buying another battery. The firmware on both of these two cameras are different. You'll notice that the overlay on the SJ cam has larger print on it. This does make it easier to read on these smaller screens. Some people will prefer the smaller print on the Lightdow LD4000 since it doesn't really clutter up the screen. They prefer to just see what they're shooting, and that's basically it. For me though, I do prefer the larger print. It just makes things a lot easier. The menu system does appear different in terms of the way it looks, but basically the same functions are all there. With some materials I had at home, I was able to build a small little rig to mount these two cameras side by side so I can do some comparison shooting. One final thing about these two cameras is that they're both using the same type of sensor or chip. They're both using the NT96650 sensor from Novatech. That's one thing to keep in mind when doing the comparison between these two cameras. Let's go and see if it's worth paying just 30 to 40 bucks for one of these cheaper cameras, or paying a bit more for a better quality version. So stay tuned, and here comes the sample videos. When recording with the LD4000 in areas where there was like a lot of bright areas and dark areas combined, I noticed that there was this sort of flickering effect that was going on. I'm not sure why it happens, but it was just kind of strange. Something else I noticed was that if I was to point the camera into the inside of my computer case where I have red LED lights, there's like this strange distortion or like these strange artifacts that are popping up in certain areas. So that was kind of strange. This didn't happen with the SJ4000. As a conclusion, would I buy this camera? I don't know. I mean, on Amazon it got a lot of good reviews, but per my own testing, the quality wasn't as great as the SJ4000. I mean, if the camera's around $30, I guess it's not a bad deal. But if you have a few dollars more to spend, I would certainly invest in something a bit better in quality. It's strange that both of these cameras are using the same type of sensor, but I guess it's just the build quality overall in terms of quality control, things like that. Could have just been my version that I received that wasn't working properly. But I mean, it's not too bad. I'm still going to keep it. I won't return it. It's still good as a backup camera. One cool thing was that when I built that rig to test both of those two cameras together, if I was to go and rotate the rig 45 degrees, I can then rotate one of the cameras to point into the car and have the other one point outwards. And well, even then you don't have to even rotate the rig. Oh, anyways, but I mean, you can just go ahead and have one camera pointing in, show everybody inside the car, talking, having a good time, or in this case it's just me driving, testing the camera out, but have the other one just pointing outwards and showing where you're going. So that's pretty cool. But I'll go ahead and leave some information in the description about that prior video about building that little rig together, and then I'll put some more information about where to get these cameras. But in the meantime, I do want to thank you for watching. Take care and have a great day.